All right, this is it. Pre-race preparations are now behind us. It is time to race. TriCenter starts now. Welcome to TriCenter. I'm Ann Westling, coming to you once again from Huggos right here on the Big Island. Now, we had a little bit of a rainy start to the day, but it seems the clouds have parted and we're off to a pleasant day before the race. But it has been a busy 24 hours in Kona. Just last night, participants were involved in what's known as the Ikomo Mai, or the welcome banquet dinner at the King Cam Hotel. They got to enjoy a carbo-loaded dinner and some authentic Hawaiian entertainment. With the banquet behind them, athletes turned their attention to the all-important race details. Friday's big event, bike check-in. The racks in transition were filled with the nearly 2,000 race-ready bikes as participants went through the meticulous process of turning in all of their race gear. In the hours leading up to the race, there is a lot of speculation about how the pros are feeling emotionally and physically. We caught up with some of the top men to ask them how they're feeling.
Right now I'm feeling really good. I could recover from my perfect day I had in Roth. So the last sessions I did with my brother Mikey were really good. I think I'm a little bit in a better shape, I would say, compared to the last 2 years. But at the end of the day, it's all about your mind, and I really hope and I'm looking forward for this race here.
What happened last year was that I was mentally very, very fragile because of all of this stress. And then I got off with a very bad start. Two of the paddle boarders didn't get out of the way. I had to force my way across those, and it just messed me up. And I never got back into the zone, never got my focus back, and did some stupid mistakes and never got my body rolling from then on. So it was a very disappointing and frustrating day, and it's not going to happen this year.
You know, I finished 5th here last year. I don't want to finish any worse. I mean, there would just be no point in spending all this time and money and effort to coming to a race and getting a worse position or racing for a worse position. So I'll definitely be out there, you know, pushing to my max or to my limit to try and improve on what I have. And, you know, you don't race to get better than 5th without at least trying to win.
And now it's time to go back a few years with today's TriQ. Now, the last 4 years have had 2 winners, Mirinda Carfrae and Chrissy Wellington for the women. But who won before that? The year is 2006. Do you know?
I don't even know. On the female side, I gotta tell you, I don't know.
Crap. Is it Granger?
Mirinda Carfrae?
That's what you just said, though.
Oh, just said.
Don't know the answer.
Somebody really fast, I'll bet. That's...
Paula Newby-Frazier.
Bodman?
Nina Kraft? Nina Kraft?
Who won before Chrissy?
Chrissy.
Who won before her?
Chrissy. Chrissy.
And who won before her?
Chrissy.
Now we're polling the group.
They're with our group, too.
Phone a friend.
McKaylee Jones. Is it McKaylee?
I think we failed.
Good call. Wow, was it really McKeely?
Yeah, maybe it was McKaylee Jones.
When we return from the break, we'll welcome Coach Matt Dixon to our set, and we're breaking down the rules of the road. Welcome back to the show. I'm so excited to have with us once again Coach Matt Dixon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Ann. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Lovely to be here.
So you have a couple of athletes here this week.
We actually have 10 athletes here.
10.
Five professionals.
Not so bad.
So not so bad.
What do you look at when you're sitting down with them 2 weeks prior to race day in terms of tapering and the process of getting ready for this big event?
For us, the taper process starts a little bit before 2 weeks because we really like to make sure that all of the big work is done 3, 4, or 5 weeks out and then actually give them some real rest.
No, this is the physical aspect. How do you keep their minds calm?
We like to have all of our conversations done about how they're going to approach the race many, many weeks out. And then we just keep refining it so that they're not really second guessing on how they're going to approach the race. They have a dedicated time each day to actually focus on the race. And then for the rest of the day, try and get them to relax and think about something else and just be really happy that they're here on the island.
It's been a pretty mild week. How does that affect the athletes?
Some of my athletes would very much like the worst conditions possible, the big winds, people like Chris Lieto, the big winds and the heat and the hard conditions.
Can you give us a little hint on any of his strategy going into Saturday?
The first thing that we understand is there are actually a lot of good cyclists in this race. Chris is probably the strongest cyclist. I think that you can't approach Hawaii with just one tactic. And there's a lot of thought that goes into his tactics each year. If there is an opportunity to ride with other athletes, and then Chris would love that. He'd love to have company up front, and we actually hope and embrace the fact that some athletes might ride stronger this year. But certainly I would probably look for Chris at some point to make a move on the bike and make a pretty aggressive move. Our goal is to get to the end of the bike with a lead, and with it costing him, you know, just not too much, so that he can actually show everyone that he can run an Ironman marathon in Hawaii, you know, well under 3 hours, which I know that he's capable of.
Well, we can't thank you enough for coming on, and best of luck to the entire Purple Patch team.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it, Anne. Always great to be here.
And of course, no matter how well an athlete prepares, there are always bound to be a couple of speed bumps along the way. And the best way to smoothly get your way to that finish line is to follow the rules of the road.
The key thing, and the thing that most triathletes fixate on, is drafting. And you're not allowed to slipstream the athlete in front of you. So we require the athletes keep 4 bike links or 7 meters between themselves. You know, the distance is tough. It's like balls and strikes. It's always been a judgment call, but you know, one of the things that helps us is that the broken solid lines in the center of the road are 30 feet. And so we've been using that as a reference. With the pros, at this event, we keep them there's reflectors on the solid line that separates the shoulder from the traffic lane, and those reflectors are 40 feet apart. That distance is super easy to judge, both as a referee and an athlete, and in large part because the shadows of the athletes come across the road. So they're heading on the white line, their shadows come across this way, so they can see the shadow of the athlete in front of them, they can see their shadow, and it makes it very easy to keep that static spacing. When they want to pass, they've got to move outside the slipstream of the athlete in front of them to make their pass. I'm just adamant that the draft marshals that we have out there call what they see. The athletes know what we're looking for, we know what they see, and it makes it easier to spot people that are taking advantage of that, you know, that are in a drafting position.
You know, it's a challenge. You know, it's hard for marshals to marshal it because they're on a bike watching it and it's always moving, you know, and it's hard to get, okay, what is that distance? And so I know it's a tough job for them, and it's a challenging piece, but my call is really on the athletes to say, hey, if you're an athlete, you should have respect for the sport and respect for what you're doing and respect for those that are out there working hard, and abide by the rules. And the rules are 10 meters, and the way I look at it is err on the 12 or 15 meters. See, I think the only way to really make this enforceable and work well is to create some electronic system that's on our bikes, and that when you're within that zone, the light goes on. And if the light's on, you're done.
Cycling is definitely a strength of mine, so I'm not for drafting at all. And I'm looking to make it as fair a race as possible. So I'd love to see a separate women's start. I think that would, you know, have a big impact on the drafting, and it'd be nice to see more refs, and you know, definitely I'm a proponent of the separate women's start.
I think Richie Tello, Jimmy, is doing a really good job. He's the red referee, but there are several other people out there, and those people have been the problems in many years. So shout out to him. He needs to address those people a little bit better. Like, they also need to understand the rules of the game a little bit. I mean, it's impossible what happened to Rhino Tissing out in Las Vegas. He's in the front for an hour 15. He goes back, he gets past, and he gets a drafting in less than 10 seconds. So people need to understand what's actually happening on there.
I had a stand-down penalty in Texas, and you know, I broke the rules, and you know, I took it on the chin, and as a professional athlete, it's up to you to abide by the rules, and it's explicitly stated in all the literature, and it's about being, you know, playing fair for everyone. Everyone's in the same position, and no one wants to take advantage, and as long as we all stick to the rules, then it's a happy and healthy race.
Well, that's our show for today. We want to wish all of the athletes the best of luck, and believe it or not, on our next episode, we will know the winners of the 2011 Ironman World Championship. Until then, keep up with us at triathlete.com. Thank you so much for joining us.
On the islands, you watch your TriCenter now. Oh, brah.
Oh, brah.
From the mountain to the ocean, windward to the leeward side. On the islands, you watch your TriCenter now. From the mountain to the ocean, windward to the leeward side. Aloha!
Well, Matt, thanks. Sorry, thanks.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm very happy to be here.
Thanks you very much. Okay.